It's 6:42 a.m., December 25th. While families sleep, emergency rooms fill with a silent surge. Heart attacks spiking 33% on Christmas Day. This is the highest risk day of the year. Cardiologists even call it the perfect storm. But the danger doesn't begin with the holiday feast and all the family stress. It actually begins the moment that you open your eyes and you reach for your phone. Hello, everyone. I'm Gabriel Gonzalez, and in today's Heartstream, I'm going to be sharing the latest research that could actually save your life and a very simple practice to help you reduce heart attacks by 70%. So stay with me. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our regulars. It's lovely to have you here. If you are new to the space, this is a dedicated space in the end of the week or the beginning of the week, depending on how what tradition you follow. For me, actually, Sunday is the first day of the week. Anyway, this is a dedicated space to help you tune in, connect, and energize your heart. Unifying your heart also with the global heart of humanity, helping raise the vibrational frequency not only within yourself but also in a planet that so desperately needs us, so that from that space then we can radiate a hard wave of unconditional love and compassion to a world again that is just so needed in this moment of transition as we move through very challenging times everywhere, wherever we are. So before we dive in, if you don't mind, I'd love it if you could please make a comment on the chat space. Let me know a little bit how you are, how you're doing. Welcome to those of you who are regulars. I really appreciate very much being here with me, creating also this together, because this is something that we create together every Sunday. The accelerated and the exponentially expansive, I would say, space that we create together is really because of the collective hearts. It is very true, spiritually speaking, that the sum is much greater than the parts when we unify our hearts with a common intention. All right, so today we're covering something that I think is really important and hardly anyone really talks about, especially people who do this type of work, heart center work. We're going to be exploring the hidden cardiac danger in something most of us do automatically these days every mornings. Okay, we'll look at the science and why this holiday season is the deadliest time of the year and when it comes to cardiovascular disease. And then I'm going to share with you what I call my transition framework, Dawn transition framework, which is a 10-minute practice that is backed by cardiology, by cardioscience. Well, I would call cardio neurology, actually. Yeah, both of them. And it's going to help you begin your days with greater coherence, feeling more connected and grounded in yourself, and with a greater sense of direction and ease, and prevent you, almost like safeguard your heart to keep you from experiencing a heart attack, especially during very stressful times. So let's go ahead and dive in. I've prepared a set of slides entitled The Morning Habit That Can Kill You, especially during Christmas time. And it covers the key points from an article that I write every week on a particular topic. If you subscribe to my newsletter, you should have received already this article earlier this week on Wednesday. I normally send my Feeling Hard newsletter on Wednesdays. And so if you like what I share here today and you want to go deeper on this topic, or you'll actually have to have all the information that's in the slides, then my recommendation is that you look for the link below this article where below this video where I share the article. All right, so there is a morning habit that is putting your heart at risk. The first thing that you reach for each morning places your heart under siege. during its most vulnerable moment. This daily shock to your cardiovascular system is a hidden danger, especially during high stress periods. So, the holiday, as I was saying earlier, becomes the perfect storm for your heart. Okay, and it really begins at dawn. And this is what the actual science tells us, that most heart attacks happen between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. in the mornings. Okay, but on December 25th, there is a spike. There's a 33% spike, and this has been measured throughout many, many, many years. And so this becomes the single highest risk day of the year. And cardiologists, again, they call it the perfect storm. And with the trigger often begins within the first 10 minutes of your day. You may be wondering, well, why does this happen? Well, it's because your body has a natural morning surge of cortisol. When you wake up, your body is in a delicate transition. Your body begins to just generate all this energy to get you ready for the day. So your circadian rhythm orchestrates a natural surge in cortisol. And this is the stress hormone. It's the hormone also that suppresses your immune system. It's not a bad hormone. It's a necessary hormone. It's wonderful. You need to have it to have some energy. The problem is when there's too much of it, it becomes quite toxic. It's just like if you put a little bit of sugar in your coffee, it's nice. It enhances the flavor. But if you put too much sugar, it just makes the coffee blah, and heavy, and you feel gross. Okay, you know that feeling. For me, these days, when I have to be very careful with the amount of sugar I consume because my teeth have become very sensitive to sugar, and then they actually, let me know I'm having too much sugar. But anyway, the point is that this increases blood pressure and obviously your heart rate. And again, this is normal. This is your body basically getting you ready for the day. And so this makes you vulnerable. And this is what you need to be aware of. And this happens again in this period between like 6 and 10 a.m. with, 8 a.m. more or less having its peak. Now imagine that in addition then to your body now kicking into high gear, you begin to add all this urgency overload, especially fueled by digital urgency that comes from our digital devices. And so there's some fascinating research that was recently discovered by cardiologist Dr. Hagels, who analyzed about over 12,000 cardiac cases, immediately engaging with your phone. People basically that the moment they wake up, they engage with their phones, and they discover how this begins to flood your entire system, and it begins to amplify the risk of a heart attack. Okay, and this is because it makes your heart rate variability a key marker for heart resilience. It makes it drop. So it decreases your ability to deal with big changes in heart rhythm, which this is what heart rate variability ultimately measures. And so I've seen this in my practice. I worked with a guy, I'm going to just use the name Thomas, who before he even got out of bed, he was checking emails, and not only that, but he would he would have his coffee already machine by his bed. So he's still in bed, and when he wakes up, gets the coffee, and then he jumps on his phone, and he would say to me, well, this is really great when I'm most productive. And so he would say, well, this is just me being efficient. You got to deal with clients and this and that. But here's the thing, his body was telling a completely different story. After all this search, he was stressed out, he was losing his hair, he gained a lot of weight, he started suffering from AFib. And so that's kind of when he decided, okay, I need some help. Okay, he saw that was normal. And so you need to have, in essence, some kind of a transition period when you first wake up in the morning to embark on the day that takes all that extra pressure off on your heart. Okay, and this is the essence of what this dawn transition practice is all about. And so the first step, or the invitation, is just to, before you even get out of bed, is just take a few moments and pause. And this might seem even counterintuitive for many of you. It's almost like you want to, when you first awaken, resist the urge to engage with life and urgency and people and emails and news and notifications and message, and just stay flat and place a hand over your heart. I often like to place a hand on the heart, left hand on the heart, and then the right hand just below my solar plexus. Okay, this is really where the majority of these important internal organs are. And then what you're going to do is just going to breathe in there. And you can inhale on 4, and then hold your breath for 1 beat, and then exhale on 6, or just simply just breathe in 4 and breathe out in 4. And all you're doing is just you're energizing your body with your breath. And then also, as the body is waking up and cortisol levels begins to rise, you're kind of letting your body know, okay, yes, we're going to move into action, but let's stabilize, let's balance the system, let's prepare your body for the day. And so this simple act begins to activate your parasympathetic nervous system. All right, this is your rest and digest mode, relaxation, and it begins to counterbalance again this morning stress surge that most people feel. So after you do that for a few moments, and again, it doesn't have to be a long time. Next, it's time for you to slowly get out of bed. Okay, so this means just shifting from horizontal to vertical, okay, in a gentle way. Most people just kind of, whoa, bounce forward, and that puts a lot of pressure on your lower back. So if you suffer from like chronic back pain, that tension, that surge, all it's doing is just putting more unnecessary pressure on your heart. Okay, that doesn't mean that you cannot do that during the day once you're up and running and walking and moving. Your body has warmed up by that time. So the idea is just to take your time to slowly wake up. And you notice how cats and dogs, they kind of do this very naturally. The moment they wake up, very rarely, unless there's an emergency, the dog will not just jump. It will slowly begin stretching and moving and just getting ready. And what that does, this light movement, begins to gradually move more blood into different parts of the body. And because you have already harmonized it with coherence, it just makes the process much easier. Okay, and so your blood pressure is being regulated by you really taking your time to do that. Next thing you want to do, and this is super important, is to hydrate. All right, your heart is at the center of your circulatory system. Most people are chronically dehydrated. Most people do not drink enough water. So before you consume any information from screens, from news, from conversations, consume water. And preferably room temperature water so it doesn't shock your system. And if you could add a little bit of lemon, then even better, because that lemon alkalinizes your body and actually prepares your body and maintains blood sugar levels low, reduces insulin resistance. Okay, and so I, for example, not only like to have my water, I keep a large glass bottle with a cap. I prefer it to having a plastic bottle, obviously, for obvious reasons. And I always like to, the night before I go to bed, I like to sprinkle a little bit of Himalayan salt inside of it. So the water is then contains some electrolytes, basically. And that will also help your heart and help you retain more water. And so the truth is that the reason why you want to do this is because when you wake up after you've been sleeping for several hours, your body's dehydrated. It has consumed a lot of that water and all of the biochemical processes that it's been doing throughout the night. Okay, and so this increases the viscosity, the thickness of the blood, and it makes your heart work even harder because rather than just fluid blood, you have like molasses running through it. And so by having that nice tall glass of water in the morning after you wake up, you're hydrating your body, and this is going to help you also your body ease into the day and reduce all these cardiovascular pressure. Okay, so nourish your body with water. And so notice that you begin with breath, and then there's a little bit of movement, and then water. Okay, and then the last thing, and I would say this extra bonus for those of you guys who want to live a more heart directed life, is to set an intention for the day. Okay, so take a moment to set an intention by asking yourself, what would I love to experience today? What is the quality of presence I wish to bring to this day? Who would I love to show up today? What would be amazing if it happened today? How does my heart feel today? How do I want to show up today? This gives you a sense of direction, and this is and where intention goes, direction goes, and energy flows. And so what you want to do then is just create the conditions so that there's something now driving and guiding your day. And so so that by the time you do turn your phone on and you start to look at the news and then or grab your morning coffee or begin to move about your day, your cardiovascular system has been optimized. You are in a coherent state. There's no fear. There's no anxiety. You're preparing yourself to deal with the day and all the unexpected things that the day brings. And by doing these four things, what you're going to be doing is reducing the risk of a heart attack early in the morning by 70%, according to the latest research. Okay, so this is key. So, how do you then make this real? How do you then bring this into life? Well, here's what I would recommend. Here's a 5-step implementation guide. The very first thing is when you go to bed at night, place your phone or your alarm across the room. Scientists these days recommend at least 3 meters, which is about 9-10 feet away from you. I, for example, like to put it not next to me, but in the room next door on like a little hallway, and that is just keeps you away also from the electromagnetic waves and radiation from the phone, and it just creates space. Now the next thing is prepare your environment. Okay, before you go to bed at night, get your glass of water. If you want to do like me and put a little bit of electrolytes, a little bit of salt, just a little tiny pinch. Okay, you're not going to make the water salty. Okay, it's just a tiny pinch. You barely even taste it. Then do that before. It's also really nice to go to bed by having some kind of a ritual, lighting up a candle for a few moments. Watch the what do you call it? Do a little bit of reading, etc. And then when you wake up in the morning, then you begin your routine. Okay, you wake up and then just kind of tell yourself, okay, I'm going to give myself this first 10 minutes to myself. All right, doesn't maybe even less than that, but it's I would say between 5 and 10 minutes, and then come into your heart, breathe into your heart. Okay, this is a great time to do prayer and combining it with heart coherence like we do here every time that we come together and we meditate on our hearts. We can use the spoken word, the creative imagination. And then just make that commitment in essence for the first 10 minutes of your day. No emails, no news, no social media, no the world's agenda, just you. Just you. You're taking care of number one. And then if you want to If you're into wearable devices that track your heart rate, monitor that, then track it. You're gonna notice that just these very simple practice, those 10 minutes that you take in the morning before you embark on the day, will have a huge effect with regards to how you feel the rest of the day. Okay, so this isn't, I believe, just a morning routine that creates stability in your cardiovascular system, makes you coherent, but I would say it really is the beginning of what I called heart leadership. Because by just taking the time to connect with your heart, energize your heart, balance your hormones, set an intention for the day, you're establishing a deeper connection with your heart and therefore with the wisdom, the intuition of your heart. And so this allows you to basically have a heart directed kind of a day, not only living from the heart, but leading from the heart. By establishing this deeper connection with your heart at the beginning of the day, you're really connecting with what is most important and meaningful for you. And this will create a ripple effect. Because when your heart leads, your actions then flow from a heart center space, not a sense of urgency or reacting to emails, reacting to news, and reacting to the information. Okay, and you begin then to respond with a greater sense of patience instead of irritation. You're able to respond from a much more compassionate presence. Your decisions become more clear. Okay, and it becomes again just easier to navigate conflict with greater ease. All right, so in closing, before we go to our meditation, the science is very clear, and even ancient wisdom agrees. Your first waking moments really have or hold a sacred threshold. And as we approach now the high risk days of the calendar, the time that the cardiologists call the perfect storm, just taking those 10 minutes every morning before you embark on your day is not just self care, but it could potentially save your life. So the choice is yours. Every morning when you wake up, there's an opportunity to meet the day with presence, especially heart center presence, or with a fragmented sense of digital urgency created by the world outside of you. Okay? And your heart is going to respond accordingly either way. If you choose to begin your days with digital urgency, your heart is going to kick in into high gear, lots of cortisol. If you, on top of that, you're dehydrated and you're stressed out, you're really creating the breeding grounds that perpetuates heart problems. But if you take your time in the morning and decide, okay, before I embark on my day, I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to reconnect with myself. I'm going to nurture my heart with my breath for a few moments. I'm going to just give myself this few moments. This is a perfect time, I find, not only for reconnecting with your heart and with the intention that you have, but again, this is also a really wonderful time to embark in prayer at the same time. One of the things that I do pretty much every morning is when I do this, I wake up and right as I'm there and I bring my hands over to the heart, and another one, as I said, right below the belly. And then I do my fractal breath practice. This is a practice that we've done here a few times, where we breathe in a pattern of 8-8-5-5 through 3-1-1 in stillness. Okay, this really is like a big breath, smaller breath, even smaller breath, even smaller breath, and then holding the breath. And then once again, so I do about 3 or 4 of those. And then from there, I just go into just regular breathing and coherence. And I notice immediately that that just brings a deep sense of harmony. And then from there, I go through a sequence of about 4 different prayers to unify my heart to the heart of God. I recite the Lord's Prayer, a particular version that I really like. It's called the Jesus Lord's I Am, the I Am Lord's Prayer. That's what it's called. And also a version of the Hail Mary as well that I absolutely love as well. That was written by Elizabeth Clare Prophet. and then I go through, yeah, other affirmations and invocations for the day. And so by the time I'm done with this period of connection, it's like, okay, now I'm ready. It's like I'm harmonized, I'm reconnected with my source, and then from there, boom, I get my water, and then I begin to slowly move my body. I have some so kind of like Chinese exercises that I do that raise my arms. Every time you raise your arms, all this blood flows into the heart. There's some really cool videos on social media that actually shows you all this blood flowing into the heart when you raise your arms. And so these are really wonderful exercises that enhance and finish waking up the rest of the body. Okay, and so yeah. All right, so I would love to know what are some of the takeaways that you're getting from this conversation about this morning habit that could potentially kill you. All right. My intention again is just to bring greater awareness to something that very few people know about. And so, for those of you guys who want to go deeper in this topic, I want to remind you of two offers that I always have available to you guys. One is the invitation to join the Sacred Heart Meditation Circle. It's a dedicated space that meets every Wednesday at 12 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, where we get to connect and meet in person, share our intentions. And in essence, we're building a beautiful community around heart center meditation or meditating around the Sacred Heart. We do different practices every week. We connect very deeply with each other. And some nice friendships and connections are really happening there. And then for any of you guys who wants to go deeper into the work that has to do with emotional healing, living a more authentic life, overcoming your shadows, learning more the series of tools and practices of heart mastery, then I want you to check out, or I invite you to check out the Heart Mastery Circle. This is a group coaching program that is ongoing. It meets every Tuesday at 12 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, and it's for people that really want to be part of an intimate, transformational group coaching program where we explore fully how to live authentically from our hearts. All right, information about these two programs is available on my website, gabrielgonzalez.com. All right, my beautiful friends, let's go ahead and now move into our meditation for today. And what we're going to do is we are going to establish heart-brain coherence like we normally do, and then enter into a deep space of receptivity as we're getting now ready to welcome the holiday spirit of kindness, compassion, and love. Let's begin. Welcome to your heart. Welcome to the here and the now. The only place where life is, where God is, where miracles happen, where the miracle of life unfolds moment to moment. I want to invite you to bring a hand over to your heart centered and close your eyes and take a few moments to connect with this precious organ in the middle of your chest that is more than just a pump, it's more than just a gland. It is your energetic center, and it is therefore your connecting point to the source of all energy. As you begin to breathe into this center, nice and slow, nice and deep, with a nice, even breath, I want you to create a mental image of a beating heart. Like imagine the beating heart that is under your hand, pumping blood. Your beating heart beats approximately 100,000 times in one day. As you breathe into it, feel gratitude and appreciation for its constancy, its commitment to your life. Now, I want you to imagine in your mind's eye your feeling heart. This one goes beyond the physical heart, and it begins to look as your center of emotions, emotional awareness, intuition. I like to visualize this heart as it's a pink colored heart, or a heart that radiates the color pink. And as you continue to breathe in and out of the heart, take a moment to feel gratitude and appreciation for this feeling heart. This part of you that feels very deeply. Now I'd like you to imagine in your mind's eye a golden heart. This is your energetic or spiritual heart. It's pure energy that flows directly from the source. It contains within you the same energy in the microcosm that our sun radiates to the earth, giving life and warmth. Your heart does the exact same thing. It is the furnace generating the heat within the body. And it's also the largest generator of electromagnetic energy within the body. Feel gratitude for this energetic spiritual heart. Finally, imagine now that superimpose upon this golden heart, there's also your sacred heart. This is your individualized sacred heart, created in the image of the heart of Christ, the heart of Mother Mary, the lotus flower, the heart of Buddha, the jewel inside the temple of Brahman, regardless of your tradition. This is the heart that holds the soul. In ancient China, they called it the soul's temple. It contains within it the messages, the wisdom of the divine. It's a heart that cannot be broken ever. It's a heart that all it knows is to love, because it's always connected to the source of love. Feel gratitude for this sacred aspect of your being. Feeling gratitude as you see now all hearts combined into one. Your beating heart, your feeling heart, your energetic heart, spiritual heart, your sacred heart, all combined into one. Each affecting the other. Yet ultimately ruled by the Sacred Heart. For the Sacred Heart holds the divine blueprint of perfection. Imagine now that the light that emanates from your Sacred Heart begins to expand in all directions, moving upward, downward, and sideways, surrounding every organ within your body with its love and its light. Every function within your physical body returning now to harmony and balance. With each breath that you take into the heart, there's more relaxation, rejuvenation, all in perfect order and harmony. As you continue to breathe in and out of the heart, feeling gratitude and appreciation for the life that beats in you, that feels through you, that breathes as you. Allow me to speak the following prayer on your behalf. Dear God, our Heavenly Father and Divine Mother, thank you for the gift of this life. Thank you for every person who is in this circle here today. Thank you for the life that flows through us. I call to the divine light of love to shine within our hearts, our bodies, our minds, and every organ that needs healing. We ask for the full restoration of the divine blueprint of our hearts, consecrating this moment as we consecrate each day to living our lives in alignment with our highest purpose. We release and let go all of that which no longer serves us, surrendering the urgency of the world for the inner calm that allows us to embrace the day and go about our days with the absolute knowing and trust of your love. We welcome your daily guidance. As we will also welcome your healing light. May every heart here, right now, in this moment, experience the perfect peace that surpasses all understanding. May every heart here today open to your greater love. May miracles of healing, transformation, and expansion take place in our lives. As we move into this holiday season, may we all remain calm, centered, and trusting, welcoming the day. As a child welcome new gifts on Christmas Day. We thank you, oh God, for being the life that beats within us, for being the light and the love that flows into us and through us. In Jesus' name, amen. Within you lives an inner source of love, wisdom, and power. Your beating heart, your feeling heart, your vibing heart, your sacred heart. Now fully aligned with the source, bringing harmony and order to all your body systems, functions, and actions. Your beating heart, beating in perfect harmony with Mother Earth and the heartbeat of God, which is the heartbeat of life. Your feeling heart, a channel of God's love and compassion. Your sacred heart, pouring its kindness all around you. Compassion that goes out to your friends and your family. Compassion that radiates out to the world, easing the suffering and the pain. Kindness and love all around, preparing the way for a day filled with new experiences, new connections, increased prosperity and joy. As we bring this meditation to a close, let's just remember for ourselves and for each other that the love of God, the love of the source is always available to us, within us, in the depth of your human heart. Let's take a deep breath in. Once again, deep inhale. Last time, deep inhale in. Opening the eyes as you reacquaint yourself once again with the space around you. Feeling wonderful, feeling calm, ready to move forward with life, and welcome back. How are you feeling? I love it if you can share with me if that feels right to you in the comment section below. Yeah, what did you experience during our time together? Or if there are any insights or takeaways that you'd like to share. All right, my beautiful friends, we come to the end of our Heartstream. Once again, I wanted to remind you that every day when you wake up, you have two choices that you can make. You could wake up with the frantic digital urgency of the world, influenced by it, with high cortisol levels, dehydrated, and putting additional stress on your cardiovascular system. Or you could just simply say, the first 10 minutes are for me, for number one. And use that time to breathe into your heart, strengthen the electromagnetic system within you, to balance your hormones, to increase your heart rate variability, generating all the feel-good chemicals that allows you to become more connected with your inner source of wisdom and guidance. And then from that space, Have some water, hydrate, move your body a little bit, stretch it, setting an intention for the day, an intention to just allow your heart to guide you in every decision. And you're going to see that every time that you choose taking care of number one instead of number two, which is the rest of the world, which is important, but it's always remind you can't take care of others if you cannot take care of yourself. That's work. And in more than a spiritual practice, I would say it's just a profound act of self-love and self-care. All right. I look forward to seeing you again next week on the same space at our same time. Until then, wherever you are in the world, once again, thank you for being with me. I send you all of my love from my heart to yours. Bye-bye for now.